What's up, guys? Break 19. In the Break 19, I talk about whatever I want. So today I want to talk about one beautiful thing. Guys, bad women exist. I talk about this because I was listening to a show and a guy was talking about how he's paying child support for his kid. And his kid has lived with him since the kid's been born. So, and this happens quite frequently. And what it is it's men trying to not admit that there are women out there who are bad, and also it's the states trying to keep these bad women off the federal government. My problem with all this is a lot of this would go away if we started admitting that there are bad women out there. Just as guys, like, we got to grow up and realize that just because you have a hole in between your legs, it's not attached to goodness, right? Okay, they're good women and they're bad women. And men need to grow up and realize that not every woman is your mother, right? They're not your mom. They're not heroes. They're not super people. I was watching Bill Maher last night. And on Bill Maher's show, there's this big fat lady with these giant boobs, right? And she's sitting there talking about Chris Christie and how fat he is. And it just it amazes me because women like that get away with that shit because she's fat. Yeah, but somehow, I'm fat and I got a gut, but Chris Christie is fatter. It's just like when you hear a dude talk about, see a guy living at home and a woman thinks she's better because she lives at home with 3 kids. And it's like, let's look at this. Grandma and grandpa have to deal with their son still living at home. On the other hand, grandma and grandpa have to deal with their daughter living at home and 3 kids. Who do you think is actually in a real bad situation? I mean, both of them are bad, but who's in the real bad situation? When the 60-year-old has to hear, mama, 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 and crying at 3 o'clock in the afternoon all day, every day. I think grandma and grandpa with the kids is doing really bad. Because the son can move, right? Grandma and grandpa are always going to have to possibly babysit or give money and go through all that crap because their daughter won't get their shit together. And the reason is always I go back to men, because as men, we have a problem admitting that they're bad women. Men, let's stand up today and let's say it loud and say it proud. When your children grow the fuck up, hold them accountable. Say it to yourself, my daughter can be a piece of shit. Just say it out loud and be honest with yourself. Right? Because it'll save you a whole lot of money, a whole lot of frustration, and a whole lot of drama. And I just say, and again, the guy who was in the situation, I can't remember what show it was, but the guy who was in the situation with the paying child support for a kid that lives with him, that happens to guys because we refuse, judges in particular, refuse to admit there are fucked up women in the world. Just because you got a penis and you made a baby with a woman does not mean I'm superior. I need to take care of her. Sometimes she fucked up. Sometimes they just messed up. And that's just the truth. And people need to just deal with it. There are bad women in the world. Okay? All right? Let's try that. Let's try it. Next time a woman has sex with an underage kid, let's hold her accountable like we do a Catholic priest. Next time, a woman, commits a crime, let's hold her accountable. This idea, we got to come out of this idea. And the funny part about it with women is a lot of women do it because they don't want to admit that they're bad women in the world. But that doesn't stop anything from bad shit happening and women getting bad judgment. It's like rape. Rape is slowly becoming a joke. It's slowly becoming, because there's so many women that are getting exposed to false rape. They're just lying. And the reason they lie is because they know other women are going to back them up, even though they know the motherfucker lying. And women, if you don't stop doing that, one day you're going to look up and you're going to be like, I was raped. And people are going to be like, yeah, right. And we'll be right back in 63. You can't thread a moving needle. You can't thread a moving needle. That bullshit. That's what happens when people take shit as a joke. And it would be a shame to go all the way back there when society has moved so far forward. So to stop that, let's admit that there are bad women in the world. All right, guys, let's break 19.